All right, so the Chicago Bears are taking on the Indianapolis Colts this Sunday, this noon actually, at Indianapolis. So it is an away game for us. And guys, this is honestly a big game for us because it is the perfect bounce back game. I'm going to explain right here why that is and why I think this could be a game where we can get things back on track, possibly. You know, who knows with the Bears offense? We don't know for sure. Obviously, like I've said before in other videos, our offense has been struggling these past two games. Now, it's only game two. Well, I guess only game three. So, don't make any, concrete suggestions or assumptions already because we don't know what the season's going to turn out like. A lot of teams are going to look very different come week 10 than they are looking right now. But to kind of go over some things about our opponent, the Colts offense specifically, obviously talking about the main piece of their offense, which is Anthony Richardson, number 4 overall pick in last year's draft, was injured about, I want to say 4 or 5 games into the season. So in reality, Anthony Richardson is still a rookie. He's only played in like 6 or 7 career games so far in his career. So he still is kind of a rookie. And because of that, and on top of the fact that he's also a very raw prospect, a great athlete, but very raw prospect as a quarterback, you mix those two things together, and you have a guy who is very explosive, but is still a young quarterback and tends to make a lot of mistakes. And so far this season, he's very turnover prone. He already has 4 interceptions, 3 of which he threw last week against the Green Bay Packers, and they're coming off a terrible loss against the Green Bay Packers in a game which the Packers didn't even have their quarterback in the game. They didn't have Jordan Love because he suffered a leg injury late in the Eagles game. And they were starting Malik Willis. And if you remember Malik Willis from the Tennessee Titans, he was a bust. He was terrible. I mean, this dude literally against the Colts last week. And mind you, he's been in the league, I believe, 2 or 3 years now. He just had his first game with a passing touchdown. And he also had his first game with over 100 yards passing. That is insane for a quarterback who's been in the league for a couple years now. And yeah, he hasn't had many games played under his belt. But still, the fact that you are the team that allowed that to happen and a guy that just got onto the team not even a few weeks ago, let them beat you, that is absolutely terrible for the Colts, man. So they're going to be looking to bounce back this game as well. They are 0-2. Like I said, coming off the loss from Green Bay. So they definitely don't want to fall to 0-3. Their other X factor, I would say, is Jonathan Taylor, who I still believe is a top 5 running back in this league. I think people seem to forget about him. I think he falls under the names like CMC, McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan, guys like that. But this dude is still a beast. I mean, for honestly the lack of quarterback play he's been having, and yes, Anthony Richardson has had good moments and looked solid last year for the few games he did play. But Jonathan Taylor kind of falls behind a lot of those guys, but career-wise, he's averaged a really high yards per carry. And last game had only 12 rushes, I believe, 12 or 13 rushes, but put up 100 yards rushing. So he was a really good game. He had a really good game last week against Green Bay, and it was pretty much their entire offense because Anthony Richardson couldn't do anything for them. But yeah, man, you got to watch out for Jonathan Taylor. And then you look at the wide receivers too. Nothing too scary, but they do have depth, and they have a lot of really solid receivers. Obviously, Michael Pittman is the number 1 guy. Really underrated receiver. Really like him as a receiver. But he's no Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson on that level. But he's still very solid. Then you have rookie Adonai Mitchell, who they drafted in the 2nd round, which I believe was an absolute steal for them. I think he's going to be turning out to be a great receiver pretty soon. Then you got Alec Pierce, who's been doing very solid this season. Has either 100 yards or a touchdown in both of those games so far that we've played this season. And Josh Downs, who got injured late into his rookie year last year. Had a very good rookie season with almost 800 yards receiving. He is coming back for this game. So, this is no slouch of a wide receiver group, but they're not anything insane like the Texans. And if we were able to handle them, I believe we can handle this team as well. Then talking about the Colts defenses, and this is where things get a little fun for us and very interesting for the Colts in a bad way because so far, and I don't want to get too much into stats right now because it obviously, like I've said, is still really early into the season. But for this one time, I'll make kind of an exception here. But right now, they are the worst run team in NFL, and it's not even close. By far the worst rushing or running against or defense against the run. They are just terrible against the run. They have allowed 2 running backs in both of these games that they've played this season to rush for over 150 yards. 159 in week 1 to Joe Mixon, and then I believe 159 or 151 to Josh Jacobs the week before, or last week. Unbelievable. They have allowed, on average, 237 rushing yards per game, which obviously these 2 games. But the reason why that's notable, 237, is the next closest team is the Carolina Panthers with 199.5. And honestly, if you look at the rankings from run defense and rushing yards allowed, all these different teams are so close. And then you just have a super far, just the Colts just really at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to run defense. And this is with DeForest Buckner for both of those games, or the majority of both of those games. But DeForest Buckner, their best defensive player by far, is on IR, meaning he will not be playing this game, meaning that they were already bad with their best defensive player on the D-line, and now he's not there. What does that tell you guys? I think we can understand the game plan that we should be going towards as an offense, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But the defense, man, not been good. They've been lacking in turnovers. Latu, their first-round rookie, I believe he's also questionable to play. I'm not sure if he's been confirmed around this time, so I would have to go check on that. If he is, he's a solid rookie. Nothing too scary, though. There's no TJ Watt or Myles Garrett or anything like that. But, with our offensive line, might do a little better. Who knows? But like I said, they're just terrible against the run. They're much better against the pass, but those numbers are kind of inflated because every team, well, both of these teams so far know that they are terrible against the run. And why would they pass the ball if the run's going to work every single time? I wouldn't. I mean, who would, right? All right, now taking a look at the Bears injury report, probably off to my right or left. We'll decide when I edit it. But first person on the list, Keenan Allen, is out. And I know people are already overreacting, saying, there you go, this was a terrible trade. We knew that he was injury prone, and now our 4th-round pick is going to waste. And guys, I'm here to say, really, a 4th-round pick? That's what y'all mad about? But what was that 4th-round pick going to do? I mean, sure, it could be something good, but most of the time, players drafted outside the 2nd or even 3rd round, they don't really pan out. And I'm going to take Keenan Allen every day of the week. I'll take a 35-year-old Keenan Allen over whatever player we draft in the 4th round. If it was a 1st-round pick, I understand, or even a 2nd-round pick, but a 4th-round pick, come on, guys. Just his presence alone in the locker room is worth a 4th-round pick. Just what he's able to do to kind of be a coach to Rome Odunze and some of the other receivers, I think that's worth a 4th-round pick, to be honest. He's basically a coach, a wide receiver coach. Next, we got Kyrie Blasingame, who is out to our fullback. Nothing really there. We don't really utilize the fullback anyway, but Tevin Jenkins is playing this game. He was limited this week, and he did not practice on Wednesday, but he did put in a full practice on Friday, so I'm pretty sure that means he's going to play, hopefully. I think he is. I mean, he got a full practice in. I don't think we're going to worry about that too much. Zach Pickens, though, is out, and that really is disappointing because he needs to kind of prove himself this season because he did not do great last season. I think he was doing somewhat solid this season, but he's out for that game, or for this game, I mean. And then you got Mercedes Lewis, who's going to play. He's just really old. And then you have Karan Amagaji. He put in 2 full practices, and I would not mind him at right guard if Nate Davis, who is next on the list here, actually no, he's not next, but if Nate Davis can go, I would like to see him on the O-line, him or Matt Pryor. Just anybody is better than Nate Davis, to be honest. But next player on the list, Andrew Billings, is a full participant in Friday's practice. He will play, and he's been doing amazing this season. 6 quarterback pressures. He's become kind of our new Akeem Hicks, and I really love that for him. I really love that for the Bears and our defense. So hopefully, he'll be good to play, which I'm pretty sure, 99% sure he'll be. And then you have Nate Davis, who is questionable. The first questionable on this injury report. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I hope he doesn't play. If this is what it takes, I'm not wishing injury on him. I don't wish injury on any player. But if this is what it takes for him to sit on the bench, so be it, man. Let this be the reason. Let this be the way we see that other players can do better than Nate Davis, because he's been absolutely terrible. He's been a liability on the field. Please keep him off the field at all times. He's going to get Caleb hurt 9 times out of 10. And then you got Travis Homer, who is out for this game. And this is another kind of one of those situations where it's not necessarily that he's bad, but Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson should be getting more snaps than him. Why is Travis Homer, a special teams player, a mainly special teams player, getting more snaps at running back than Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson? Makes no sense. I don't know what Shane Waldron is doing with that, but now he's forced to start one of those guys. Well, he's supposed to, play him behind DeAndre Swift, but now he's forced to play one of those guys, which I'm glad to see, because we should not be having Travis Homer back there all the time. I get he's probably good in pass protection, but that's why we got Roschon Johnson. Then you got Rome Odunze, who's full, he'll play. Montez Sweat, full, he'll play. And DeMarcus Walker, full, he'll play. So pretty much everybody in the D-line except Zach Pickens will be there to play. Pretty much all the main pieces will be there. So you know our defense is going to be eating. Then taking a look at the Bears offense, man. Bears have been struggling on offense. I think it's, no surprise there, no secret that we need to get things going, man. But this is a perfect bounce back game. This is what I was saying earlier. Like I said, they don't have a good defense. Their D-line is absolutely terrible right now, especially against the run. We need to play Roschon Johnson. We need to play Khalil Herbert. We need to run inside zone right up the middle, man. Just right up the middle. Just destroy them on the ground. This is finally the game to get the run game going. Because if we can't get it here, man, I don't see us ever getting it at this point this season. Not too much to say about the Bears defense. I'm not even going to really go over it, to be honest. Our defense is amazing. They're solid. If they were able to hold C.J. Stroud, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to hold Anthony Richardson. You just got to contain him. And now getting on to some of the keys of the game. Number one, like I've said a few times so far, it's no secret, run the damn ball. Run the damn ball. This is the time to establish the run game. Shane Waldron, run the damn ball. And I'm not talking about outside zones. They just lost their best defensive player, who was a D tackle, in the middle. What does that tell you? Inside zone all the way. I know DeAndre Swift is not much of an inside zone runner. This game you have to. And if he can't do it, let Khalil Herbert do it. Let Roschon Johnson do it. They are both really good in inside zone. Please, Shane Waldron, do not make this difficult. Do not overthink this. Don't try to play funny. Don't try to play cute. Just run it up the middle. Good old Madden style, just right up the middle. Really simple. Establish the run game here. And if we can't get it here, guys, when will we ever? This is pretty much the best opportunity to do so. Next key to the game, protect Caleb Williams. That is obviously no secret that our O-line has been doing terrible. We should never see ever again 36 of 37 dropbacks being pressured, 11 quarterback hits, and 7 sacks. That should never happen again. Now, I will say that in a game like that, I really feel that was just a combination of everything that could go wrong with the offensive line and pass protection went wrong. So I don't think we'll ever see that kind of a bad performance, but it does kind of show that we do struggle in pass protection in general. So, they got some guys on the D-line that can pass rush, but I don't really think that they've got the D-line like the Houston Texans or even the Tennessee Titans. So I think we'll be able to hold up this game. I think this is really good for, a good bounce back game for our O-line. Next key to the game, make Anthony Richardson pass from the pocket. He is a explosive guy. He relies on the big play, on his legs and his rocket of an arm. He's got an amazing arm in terms of throw power, but he is inaccurate, and he's still very young. Like I said about C.J. Stroud, if you get him under pressure, he is still a young quarterback, and he's even younger, low-key, than C.J. Stroud because he's had less games played. He's got less NFL experience with playing time as an NFL quarterback. And if you can get Anthony Richardson to be pressured, he's going to make mistakes. He's not very accurate with the ball. I really think the only problem is going to be the fact that he's much more mobile than C.J. Stroud, obviously. So containing him is going to be harder. But if we're able to do that, I think we can hold Anthony Richardson down a pretty considerable amount. And then the final key to win this game is to stop Jonathan Taylor and don't let him get going. Same thing I said about Joe Mixon last week, and we successfully did that. And I believe that was a big reason why C.J. Stroud only put up 19 points against us. But same thing here, man. Jonathan Taylor is, in my opinion, better than Joe Mixon. And I think if we can stop Jonathan Taylor, we stop Anthony Richardson, we stop that entire Colts offense. And so what do I think about this game, man? Like I said, perfect bounce back game for the Bears here. This right here should be an easy win. So obviously, I'm taking the Bears to win here. I'm taking them with a score of 28-17. Final score for the Bears. And I'm actually going to take it a step further. And I think Caleb Williams actually passes not for just 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to pass for 2 touchdowns this game. He's going to get his first 2 passing touchdowns. And when he has a clean pocket, man, he looks great. He looks great when he has a clean pocket. And yes, he's a rookie. He's only playing in his 3rd games. Guys, I need to remind you that this is only his 3rd game. Stop acting like he needs to be C.J. Stroud or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow right away. Give the man time to develop. He doesn't have the best head coach. He doesn't have the best play caller currently. He definitely does not have the best offensive line, all of which other teams had. So give Caleb some time, just like we've given Josh Allen 3 years, just like we gave Tua 3 years, just like we almost gave Fields last year, the 3rd-year leap. Jalen Hurts' 3rd-year leap. Like, why are we giving all these other quarterbacks so many years to develop and get ready and not call them out on being playing bad in their first few games? But But 2 games in, we're already to call Caleb a bust. I don't know, man. I mean, not a lot of Bears fans are doing that, but I do see it sometimes. It's kind of annoying. Just stop it, man. But anyways, like I said, 28-17, Bears win here. And honestly, I can see the Bears honestly keeping them to a lower score, probably like even 14-28. But this should be an easy win for us. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your score predictions down below. Let me know if you agree with me or not. Bear down, I'm out.